Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Britt. I know, pretty exciting stuff. I am here for the first installment of what will be an ongoing series called Britt Thoughts. Now, here's the inspiration behind it. I have been told on many occasions that the thoughts that I have throughout a regular day are what some may call high thoughts, aka the profound thoughts one may have when high. And by profound, I mean, what is she talking about? Now, I have these thoughts all of the time for no reason. So I thought I might write some down and then throughout the week, after I've gotten all my collection, I can share them with you. So here's our first episode, and the first thing we're going to start with is Ella Enchanted. Yes, you know the film. Anne Hathaway's in it. She has to do whatever she's told because of a gift from her godmother, and basically her whole plan is to try and get rid of that. I have some thoughts about if that would happen today. First of all, does it have to be said out loud? Like, if she reads something, does she have to do it? And by first of all, I mean that's pretty much what leads into everything, okay? So, if some guy texts her and says, hey, come over, does she have to go over? Or would he have to walk to her place and say, hey, come over, to her face for her to have to come over? Okay? Thoughts? If she sees a sign when she's driving down the road and it says, vote blank for president, does she now have to vote for them for president? But then the next sign says, vote this person for president. And you know she can't vote for both. So who's she voting for? When she sees commercials on TV and they say, limited time offer, call now, does she have to call now? And that one's even said out loud, but it's not directed to her. So does she have to do it? Just because it's directed to whoever's in the audience and she happens to be there. And I know that in the movie there is a whole political thing where they don't vote, but like basically she's against the prince, even though people are like, support the prince. So I know that she does have a mind of her own, but if someone directly said to her, hey, vote for this person for president, would she then have to vote for that person for president? But then if someone else says the exact same thing, but with the other candidate, who can she vote for? Because she can't vote for both, but she has to. So does she fill out two bubbles and now her entire ballot is invalid? So those are some of my thoughts about Ella Enchanted in today's society. I have a lot of questions there about what would happen, and I think it'd be interesting. Another thing came up in my classes, and it's about whether anything can be considered objectively good or objectively bad. I don't think it can. Now, hear me out here. Some may say something along the lines of genocide is objectively bad. And I'm not saying that genocide is good. Morally, from the overarching standard of morality, it is a bad thing. However, you can't say it's objectively bad because if you go to the person who's committing the genocide, they think it's the right thing to do. And their logic may be iffy, but because they think it's right and they have logic backing it up, you can't say it's objectively bad. And an example I will use for this is not a real genocide because that would be terrible, but Harry Potter. Voldemort, he wants to kill all of the half-breed wizards, you know? Like if it's wizard and muggle, he wants them dead. Now, from the standpoint of the characters that we're following, that's a bad thing because they're going to die or their friends are going to die. But from Voldemort's standpoint, he's just trying to keep the wizard race as strong as possible. So he thinks he's saving the wizard race doing it, okay? So objectively bad, no. So anyway, just something to think about. Subjectivity in bad and good and whatnot. Entirely different subject that I came across upon the well-known app that I'm sure you've heard of, TikTok. And this question is, how does anyone ever take themselves seriously? Now, I take videos of myself quite often. I'm doing it right now. I do it in my living room. I do it in my bedroom. Lots of videos. I can't take myself seriously in them, okay? I take a video of myself, watch it, laugh at myself, cringe, cover my face. I don't want anyone to see it. I know that I post this on Instagram, so clearly I was okay with people seeing it. but I'm still gonna feel awkward if anyone ever watches it in front of me. And also, the dance videos, or like when people try to be seductive. How do you take yourself seriously? I literally can't understand it. I can't imagine trying to be hot and then not laughing at yourself. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't understand how people can do that. And maybe that's just because of like confidence. Maybe you can't take yourself seriously if you don't have confidence. I don't know. Because this is something I talked about with one of my roommates about confidence. Is confidence is weird. Because like I personally, I do love myself. I think I'm great, okay? But I don't like anything about myself. And that's the tricky part. But overall, I just don't get how anyone can take themselves seriously. Even if you think you're the hottest person on the planet, watching a video of you just pretending to be hot has got to make you laugh, right? Like, there's no way that you can't cringe at that, right? I mean, I don't know. I guess I just don't understand it. Moving on. So, Uber, the app, people review their drivers. So you're thinking, well, this person doesn't have great reviews, but like 4 stars. 4 stars isn't bad. It's just on Uber. I feel like everyone always has like 4.9 stars because people just give that many stars. So you're like 4 stars. You're like, man, what's this person doing? And I get 5 stars. And then I was thinking, well, as long as they're not a killer. But you don't know if your Uber driver is a killer based on reviews, okay? Because the people they don't kill are the ones leaving the reviews. So they take you on a ride, they're a great driver, super polite, they drop you off, 5 stars. They take you on a ride, they murder you, you're dead, you can't review them. So they still have 5 stars. So all I'm saying is you can't tell if your Uber driver is a murderer based on Uber reviews because the people they kill aren't the ones leaving the reviews. So think about that next time you're in an Uber. Or don't, because that would be really scary for you. Yup. All right. Anyway, another thing I have, mac and cheese and alfredo. They're the same thing with different cheeses, right? Like they're both pasta with cheese sauce. Are they not? So why are they 2 different foods? If you had like, I don't know what kind of cheese is in alfredo, but if you had like, I don't know, mozzarella mac and cheese, that's a white sauce, that's alfredo. And if you have cheddar alfredo, that's mac and cheese. So the only difference is the kind of cheese you have, but if you said cheddar alfredo, people would be like cheddar alfredo and they wouldn't even think that it's mac and cheese, even though they're the same thing, pretty much. So why do they even have different names? Why is mac and cheese called mac and cheese and not elbows with cheddar alfredo sauce? Kind of a mouthful. Honestly, it makes perfect sense. The final thing I have to talk about is going to be the least interesting to you, and it's colons. Now, hear me out on this. In literature or writing, you use colons to elaborate further on something. Like when you want to give examples of something that you're talking about. Like you might say, people were angry at all of the events that happened, colon, list the events. So you're elaborating on the events, okay? And then there's colons in time, like 2:30. And the colon's doing the exact same thing. It's 2, colon gives more details. 30, elaborate on the time. It is in the hour of 2, but that colon gives you a little more specificity. Specificity. So now you know more. So it's basically the same thing, which again, not super interesting, but kind of cool. So those are all of the thoughts I had all week long. Like I had absolutely no thoughts outside of those. Those were it. Only things that ran through my head when those weren't happening. Totally empty up here. Absolutely nothing outside of those thoughts. And now that we've made it clear that those are the only thoughts I had this week, that does it for my first installment of Britt's Thoughts. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you come back for my second installment of Britt's Thoughts, and also the third one, and however many after that I decide to do before I look back on these videos and hate myself and wish I'd never posted them. Alrighty, so see you next week. Bye!